Okay, thank you very much for watching or tuning in. My name is Anthony, or Spoken Anthony, whatever you want to call me. I don't care. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about this TikTok video I seen. Now, I want you guys to go ahead and comment and tell me what you think. Now, when it comes to this particular issue, I am going to talk about this TikTok creator called Paige Turner, or her screen name is sheispaigeturner. She made a pretty interesting video called Why I Consider Divorcing My Husband. Now, before we watch this together, I just want to go ahead and say, when it comes to marriage, that's one of the few things I respect. You know, growing up, there was a few things I wouldn't cross. I would never talk to a woman that was underage, and I would never talk to a married woman intentionally. And what I mean by that is, of course, as you get older, you realize a lot of women kind of hide that they're married because they're lacking something at home, or just outright want to cheat. It is what it is. So, but if I knew a woman was married, I would avoid her at all costs. And let me just pause for a second. I hope I got the sound right this time. There's a lot of people that said on my last video they couldn't hear it for some reason, but other people could. So hopefully we got that resolved. Anyways, so when it comes to this woman, I did watch the video and I kind of want to give a response to it because I have nothing against her. But when I listened to her and the issues that she was talking about, it made it seem like that marriage is very fragile in today's standards compared to what I seen growing up, and even when I've been through my own self. Now, am I still married right now? Unfortunately, no. Things didn't work out, not to no effort of my own. There are just some things that, some lines you just can't cross, and I'll just leave that at that. But in this particular situation, I don't see the issue to make her want to think that it's okay to divorce her husband, the person that she gave a life commitment to. Depending on your religion and your belief system, to God, or at the very least a higher court. So when you're tied to somebody at the soul, because that's what I think is a marriage is the ultimate soul tie, there's just some things are just not black and white when it comes to marriage. So let's go ahead and get this played. Where'd it go?
I've been with my husband for almost 20 years, but about 3 years ago, I was strongly considering divorce, and I want to talk to you about why. So I'm going to tell you the story of the day where I thought to myself, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. My husband and I had 4 kids. We both worked full time. We had been together for 16 years at this point. We've been together since high school. And on paper, I have an amazing husband.
And that's a really good thing. You rarely hear about people being together from high school through college into adulthood, 20 plus years. That essentially mean they grew up together. So you know each other, probably more intimate than most other people who have been married for 5 years or whatever. Probably have a strong connection with her husband than her parents had to each other.
He is incredibly supportive, he's kind, he's loyal, he's a great dad, he's very hands-on, he's an active participant, he's always present. Like, on paper, what else could I ask for?
That is a very good question. On paper, what else you can ask for? Because there are women here that are selling for a quarter of what you got.
But in reality, my experience is very similar to the experience of other women. I had this amazing husband who on paper was great, but I was incredibly frustrated and burnt out from our marriage and from motherhood. Because what happens to so many of us is that we marry these amazing men and we have amazing relationships, and then we have kids.
Now, I will say, kids will change the dynamic of a relationship. Now, I'm just pausing right here for a minute because I always believe that, and I support this in another video I said too, that parents have to prioritize themselves first and the kids pretty much second. You know, she got to put her husband first, her husband got to put her first, but she has an amazing husband, so I don't think that's necessarily the issue there. Now, to get a little bit off topic, I can see where it could potentially be an issue if it's like stepkids, but that doesn't sound like the case in this particular situation, considering they've been together since they were 16 years old. Anyways, let's go back and continue.
When we have kids, women tend to carry a disproportionate amount of the work in the home, the work of raising kids, and the mental load. And that is exactly what happened to us. About 3 months after my 4th baby was born, I remember looking at my husband and saying, I need more. I need you to do more. I am exhausted. I am in charge of everyone and everything in this house. Every night when we cook dinner, you ask me what to make. Every day when you drop off the kids at...
Wait, did she say every night when we make dinner, you ask me what to make? So to me, when I hear that statement, that implies that he's doing cooking too. So you're not the only one that's participating in the household, but okay.
Daycare, you ask me what they need in their backpacks. I am the project manager of this home and I need you to do more.
What? So let me get this straight. He asked you what do they need in the backpack, which means he's actually packing their backpacks too. Am I missing something here?
And he looked at me and he said, okay, just tell me what to do. Right? Every woman has heard this. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
And that's what most men do. The thing about being a man is that we're normally fixers, right? If you tell us, hey, you want this done, this done, this done, we'll get it done. And normally we won't ask questions. Now, if we don't ask a question, it's done wrong, you should be more clear in your instructions. But most of the time, we're going to go ahead and do what you went ahead and asked. So he's doing what you ask. He sounds like he's volunteering and do extra stuff, but you need more. To me, this sounds like a very selfish woman, unfortunately. And that's very unfortunate because we're just hearing this one story, and so far, she sounds very selfish.
I said, okay, something that would make my life easier is if in the mornings when I came downstairs with the 4 kids, because I do mornings by myself, the dishwasher was emptied, the dishes were put away, and the trash was taken out. That would make my life so much easier because when I've got the 4 kids running around and the baby crying, I can't be looking for their favorite water bottle in the dishwasher. I just need to know it's clean. And he said, yeah, of course. What? Yeah, I'll do that. That's no problem.
Yeah, I'll do that. That's no problem. Okay. But I've always been the belief if one parent is cooking, the other parent should do the dishes. So early it made it sound like that he's doing the cooking, so why can't she do the dishes? She made it sound like he's great, he's very active in the kids' lives, so clearly she's not doing everything by herself. She's spoiled.
And so of course he does it, but then I have to remind him, and then he forgets, and then I have to remind him again. And there was this one morning where I woke up and I went to put something in the trash and it was overflowing. And I went to get my son's water bottle and it was in the dishwasher with all the other clean dishes. And I felt so disrespected and unseen and unvalued at that point in time. And I remember texting my husband being like, what happened? Like, why didn't you do this? And he said, sorry, I was running late for work. And I remember thinking, oh my God, he doesn't see me.
So I don't know what kind of job her husband has, but I will say this though, that you are texting your husband at work, the man that's probably making the primary money in the house, something trivial and small. And I don't know what kind of job he has. He could have a very lax job, he could have a dream job, he could have a stressful job. But either way, you're going to throw him off his work game for dishes. That's a conversation that could have waited when he got off work.
Because what he's done has now made me late for work. And he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about the impact on me. And he doesn't see how every single thing in our home happens because I ask him to do it, or because I do it myself, or because I planned and organized it. The diaper bag is full because I filled it, right? I put the wipes in there. And I felt so frustrated. And I remember thinking, what's the point? What's the point of doing this with someone else? I might as well just do it at home. And it's not because my husband didn't love me or he did anything to me. And it's not because I didn't love him, but because I felt so taken advantage of in our relationship. And
May this love never find me. May this love never find me. So if I'm understanding correctly, you know your husband loves you and you love your husband, but you're having to fit over something small. There's gotta be more to the story. She said he does nothing to her, all this other kind. There's gotta be something else to the story. I cannot believe somebody is this spoiled and entitled. Actually, yes, I can. But it's just, I didn't think it was this common of occurrence out there.
Dynamic. It doesn't happen by accident, right? It's not like my husband did it to me, but we've been raised in this society that tells men and women who they should be in marriages and what it looks like to be a good mom versus a good dad. And we know the bar for moms is way up here and the bar for dads is way down here.
What the hell? Okay. You know what? I'm not going to be that guy that gets into the whole entire gender roles and what a man does, what a woman does, yada, 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 whatever, right? I grew up in a time to where you got to speak to the older generation, and we and her probably about the same age. She's probably in her 30s, and your grandparents be like, I ain't doing it, and that's women's work, things like that. So the fact that you don't have a man that's like, hey, I'm not doing it, that's women's work, you birthed these kids, you gotta do it, he's an active participant trying to help you, and you're not appreciative, is something that blows my mind. And that's why I say, I hope this love never finds me.
And we fell into these norms. We fell into these roles in our family, despite the fact that we never wanted to. And I'm lucky, and I say lucky because I have a partner who I know loves me and wants me to be happy and was willing and able to change. And so we did the work to figure out what equity looked like in our relationship. And I can tell you now, 3 years later, that we are happier than ever. Our kids are thriving. Our home runs like a well-oiled machine. And that took a lot of work. I want to say it took like 18 months to get there. And it was well worth it. But it is not uncommon. And so if your wife is coming to you and she's saying, I'm burnt out by the mental load and I need you to do more, she's not just saying that because she wants you to do more chores. She's saying that because truly it can hurt your relationship. It can ruin your marriage if you do not participate in an equitable way in your home. And so what does that look like? What does it look like to change these dynamics? Well, we need to really assess in our homes what the work looks like. Because in most homes, the data supports this, women do a disproportionate amount of the work. They just do. They do more of the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and the childcare while also working full time. And men have more time for things like their hobbies, like golf, for example, or just working out, running a marathon.
So whenever you divorce him, because I feel like that'll eventually come, whenever you do divorce him and he gives you 40% of his paycheck, if not more, in the house, and then pay the insurance, what do we have time for then? You know, I don't believe that statement she just said, and that's wow, just wow. She's going by data and studies, but omitting her own personal life when she says she had an amazing husband, again, who is an active participant. I would love when these women make these videos to their husband had a channel too, to give his perspective from every single angle that she gives here. Like, she has a TikTok, he has a TikTok, and whenever she makes a video that's kind of like, what? He kind of responds like, well, this is how it really is, or this is my point of view of things. Because I guarantee you, man, we go through a lot of it too. We're over it more than you are probably. We just suck it up. Because you know what we're told to do? Suck it up, be a man, figure it out. That's why you don't know a lot of the times of the pains and struggle or how we're just over. We just gotta dig deep and keep going. Man, this is crazy.
Right? And so we need to have hard conversations about what our time looks like, what our labor in the home looks like, what is invisible labor. We have to talk about these things. And when we don't, the alternative is that you no longer have a marriage, or you don't have a happy one at least. And so I share this story because I don't think I'm alone in this experience. And I want people to know that there's hope, and that if you have a willing and able partner, you can change this. You can absolutely change this dynamic.
Okay, I'm about to get off here soon because that video was crazy. I didn't. You know, there's a quote that's been going around lately a lot, and it's right here in this comment, right? Men would sacrifice their happiness for their family. Women would sacrifice their family for their happiness. And what she just said in that video is a very true statement to this comment. And it's painful to see that. It really is painful to see a video like that. And I'm pretty sure, like, a woman's love language, not having to ask, I'll die on this hill, then you'll die alone. If you have a man that's willing to ask you, what can he do? Ask you, what's wrong? Ask you, why are you hurting? We're not mind readers. We can try to anticipate the best we can, but we can't even tell what's wrong with us internally sometimes as men. So if I can't figure out what's wrong with me, how can I help you figure out what's wrong with you? If I don't know what I need, how can I help you know what you need? I don't know what else is on here. Let's see. Having to ask is another task. No, it's not. Having to ask or just willing to ask is a blessing, because that means your man, your husband, cares enough about you to want to ask, to care about your opinion. That's not a task. Like, what is going on here? Your husband deserves better. Hope he finds someone better. I feel bad for your husband. I am the project manager of this home. It's perfect. Even if the physical load is similar, the mental load is a silent killer. What? See me in a minute. This is what I'm talking about. Women care so much about their own mental health and emotions. They don't give a crap about men's. Yes, the mental load is the really biggest part of this. That's what she replied back. Okay, got it. When my husband says, just remind me, I ask, and who is going to remind me to remind you? What? Tell me what to do. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't need him to do more. I need him to know more. Again, how can he know more? He's a very active participant. Write me a list. I will literally explode. That doesn't even make any sense. So let me get this straight. If you tell me to go to the store and pick up a few things, I'm like, hey, text me what you need or write me a list so make sure I don't forget anything. That should be a good thing. Well, if you tell me what you need, I go to the store, I forget something, I'm pretty sure then you will explode, right? I can understand you exploding at that point. But what this woman is saying, I wonder how many of these women are actually married. And if they are married, how happy are their husbands? And if their husbands are not happy, how many side chicks do they have? Because I'm telling you right now, when you have situations like this, you have women that are this entitled and this clueless, and it really is clueless because it's emotionally insensitive. A man will go find that somewhere else. I'm not saying this, right? But that's just the way it is. Neurodivergent. I'm suffering with consensual syndrome over here. My husband is neurodivergent. We've been able to come up. I'm so sick of these terms. Let's see. When I divorced my husband, he said, you will see how much I did around now. Still waiting to see. I'm pretty sure you do. You're just trying to talk big on the internet. That poor man. Go away for a long weekend. Leave him alone with the kids. It's a rude awakening. It really isn't. It really isn't. Actually, things work a lot better because fathers are a lot more strict and kids tend to respect the authority of the father to where they just do what's told because they don't have mom to have that buffer or go around. But let's be really honest here. Are any husbands actually watching this? We really shouldn't need to train grown men. Wow. Wow. Divorce. Wow, heavy. It sounds like you failed to communicate your needs early and have high standards. Thank you. Communicate better and stop using the D word. Thank you. I'm so sick and tired of women using divorce to get what they want to prove a point. They throw out divorce like it has no meaning. The person that you are with are supposed to be with, you're supposed to be with them for the rest of your life. That is your life partner. After your kids are grown and out the house and have their own husband and or wives, it's going to be you and that woman, or that woman and that man, or woman and woman, whatever, staring each other at the face, just enjoying each other ideally. There's no such thing as training. There's no such thing as I'm losing my cool. Anyways, I'm done. Anyways, you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you. I'm going to start doing late night Thursdays. This late night conversations is called. I think I did about 3 so far. Just casually talking. It's normally around 11 p.m. Eastern time for the most part. So if you want to tune into that, go ahead and do it. I think I'm going to do one this Thursday coming up. But yeah, you guys tell me what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you watching. Thank you again. Bye.